Hey everyone, Salty Stark here again, and we're gonna be talking about stages this time around. Just because they are really important, you kind of eventually everyone will get to 3600, but this is like your best way to get like crystals and stuff. Because early game, if you have the right comp, you can clear like an extra 100 stages, and if you clear an extra 100 stages, that's 35,000 crystals, or 30,000 crystals, I think, depending on where you are in the game. So we'll just go over the units that are like really good for stages, um, and give it an actual tier list because I know you only unlock a certain amount of slots in the meantime until you get to a certain stage level. So best unit for stages, I would say, or best top four because I think you start with four units. You typically want a defense break and a stunner and probably a tank. Just so you have something to frontline, you have something that keeps your front or lets your front line rotate through its abilities with the stun and then the defense break. And then your fourth one, you probably want like a damage dealer, but damage in this game is a little bit different than most games, unless you have like a Sabrina, which who have or most people right now when this video is being made is going to have a Sabrina because it is currently the banner and most people think it's the best unit in the game, which I think it does the most in terms of like what it's meant to do. Like realistically, the only thing you could replace Sabrina with right now is like maybe Tessarion and have like a comp around just Tessarion and Burn. But realistically, that's not going to help too much. Um, End of the day, Sabrina has like no conditions on how she's going to do damage. If you crit, you do it 20% more, and if you use your ability, like if you use your like skill, you're gonna have 20% double hit rate. So you can't really beat that, in all honesty. So right now, most people are gonna be running Sabrina. So that's gonna be your damage dealer. If you have like four units, then you're gonna probably need a defense break, and you're gonna need a stunner, and then typically you want a buffer, but if you don't have a buffer, I recommend running two tanks early game. Just because, and you can also you can position your comps in certain ways to be able to clear things early. Like let's say like Celestia, right? I used to run her as a tank early game. I just move this back here. Let's get rid of the solution for just so I can show you. I used to run stuff like this where she should get attacked first, like, and that's how I would push like tower defense. See, that's how she got attacked first. That's three tanks or three. That's three hits she's tanking before anything else. So it's one of those things where positioning your comp really matters early game, just because you're trying to build for tower defense while trying to build for stages. So that kind of stuff's important. But obviously, I'm not going to clear this because that really doesn't matter that much anymore. If I wanted to clear this, my best option would be something like this, where I throw a series here, and then this would give me a real chance of being able to clear this. I'm not saying I would. Obviously, I'm kind of stuck where I am right now. I could use potions. As far as potions go, by the way, I recommend just clicking them. Um, the game doesn't do a good job of using them in the time or exactly when you need them. So like here, like obviously my aerial's still fine. I misclicked because I'm bad, but like it's one of those things where that's way below 20 or that's way below 50%, and then it crit there. So, and this is another thing with stages in general is a lot of the times you do just have to rerun them and rerun them. So like here, where we relied on the fact that I wasn't going to crit, and now if we just get the blind down, which we'll go over like awakening rating or like what I think the awakening ratings are and stuff later, but There's a reason for like Cassandra being as strong as she is. That exact reason, really, because that blind shot would have saved him from being able to die or from taking damage, and we wouldn't have to use as many potions or worry about it. But as you can see, like just in general, we're able to clear just because we were hitting the potion. We have a team comp set up to where things aren't just dying, and things are being or the things that aren't as important are tanking and sponging for the things that are important. So, but anyways, back to when you only have like 4 or 5 units, you definitely want the defense break. You definitely want a tank. You want a damage dealer, and you want a free or you want a stunner. Once you get to 5 units, you want to start adding your buffers. I don't like Celestia for stages as a buffer, especially early game. I don't know once you get like 2600 if you start missing, but it does not feel like you miss in stages. And people have like this misconception about equipment and stuff and wanting to have, accuracy in your equipment, which I don't necessarily agree with. I don't think equipment affects tower defense at all. Um, like if we look here, I look at my Sabrina right now. We have 1.587k accuracy. And then if I click here, we have 4.637k accuracy. So either I have accuracy on a lot of this equipment or I have accuracy in relics. But either way, it doesn't appear that it affects my accuracy when it comes to doing the tower defense. So I have no accuracy in equipment, but that means even relics, for example, do not affect that, or survey does not affect your accuracy for tower defense. So that's something you got to think about, of like priority and importance. Stages just have a lot that comes down to it that doesn't affect the other game or affect the rest of the game. So, like, what is that? An extra 400% accuracy or extra 300% accuracy? And in the overworld, so there's a lot that doesn't actually affect your accuracy. Um, Training and stuff like that, I have no clue, but relics might not even affect your accuracy. Because here we have an accuracy of 59%. I think I can actually look at my over, and then an accuracy of 24%. So both of those probably do not affect it. Mastery might not even, all honesty. Like, how much accuracy do we have in Mastery right now? 16? Like, who really knows? It's hard to say. They don't do a good gauge of like what affects what because you can't click on the monsters in the specific area to see what's affecting it. As far as like your total effects, you can actually see that. If you click here, I can see my all. It actually gives you the ratio of like how much is going to be, how much is you're currently into things. So like here, if we look at my book level, we're about halfway through books because everything goes to 10. Temple, we're not that far into Temple, but one of those things where you can just look at everything. Finally, once you get to like the 9 and 10 units, let's see what we can find out that's probably important. So actually, we'll just do the tier list of like importance. So tank, defense break, freeze, damage dealer, and then I would say crit rate. If you have someone who buffs the crit rate for your damage dealers or for your other units, is always going to be really good. Attack speed, because especially if you're running Sabrina, you're double hitting and then you're attacking 20% faster, which means that you're getting essentially more hits that can crit quicker. And then attack rate, crit damage, then crush rate, and then crush damage for like the buffs. And then debuffs, the only debuffs that really matter in Overworld, from what I've seen, is the stuff that'll keep your things alive longer. Because once you get to like where I am, or depending on like the certain unit you're fighting, your frontliner is going to die quick. Like, if I don't hit, you know, the HP at all, let's see how long this takes. Got 30 seconds on the clock. 26. That was 26 seconds when that thing died. So it lived for 4 seconds. So that's kind of that for stages. And like, there's so much to go through in one video. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. And I'll add feedback later. Thank you guys for your time, and I hope you have a good one.